Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and as you can tell from the replay, and as you can tell from the thumbnail, this is Labrynth, but a very, very different version of Labrynth than people have been showing. Now, I know you clicked on the thumbnail because you are very lonely, but let's take a look at what this is. So when I was watching the format play out, watching this deck specifically, I noticed it has no real advantages in a lot of situations. It's like, it is just a redesign of Poopy Stink Outlet where you just sit on floodgates and hope that's enough. And in many cases that can be, but there's no actual advantage to playing it, nor is there anything you can actually do to go second. It just feels like this really, really mundane, do-nothing, not trying to win a game deck. So I was like, this is terrible. So I thought, maybe Traptrix is a better trap deck to play this format. And, I mean, honestly, it might actually be, because that deck is hyper aggressive with its card advantage. It actually wants to win, but doesn't have the stats to try to. Whereas this one, I forgot these cards existed. All the quote, hand traps, the furniture. And I remember a build I posted a while ago, which was basically this idea of using furniture super aggressively as basically hand traps. And the reason I decided to go back was twofold. One, the current builds of Labrynth don't have any desire to actually win the game at all. They are truly just Eldritch clones that are not very good. So I was not very interested in playing those. But two, a much bigger thing is everyone and their mother for some reason wants to diabolical whatever the XE is and just lock all your zones. And what I've noticed is they don't lock your monster zones anymore. That's not what their goal is. It's to lock your spell and trap zones. Because if you lock out the spell and trap zones, the amount of outs you could have to that board drastically go down. It goes down to genuinely not very many of them. And if you're playing a trap deck, you might as well just concede, because you can't play. You can't do anything without that. So what I realized is furniture is a way to establish a back row before all of your zones are locked. So I decided maybe there's some merit to going back to this idea. And sure enough, I need to put this back here, there is. Because not only when I started playtesting this, I noticed, hey, it does fix that problem, but it also, casually bullies a lot of decks I didn't realize it would. So let's get into this deck list, and it's organized very weird, but let's explain it. Silver Castle doesn't need explanation. You know what it does, it can just special summon itself on an activation of a lab card effect or a normal trap, but that gets much better when you can do it on your opponent's turn. Because you notice how these first 23 cards here are organized specifically this way? That is because these are the either 1, 2, or 3 card combinations of these are going second cards. That's right, these are all going second utilities, obviously evenly matched. That goes without saying, and imperm, but let's say you open a furniture and Kuklok, that is a disruption. That is a hand trap, and it puts you back at 5 cards when taking a card away from your opponent. And in addition, gives you a quick compulse back on your opponent's turn if Lovely survives. So, like, that's a lot of interaction very quickly. Breakthrough skill with furniture means when you go into your turn, if they go to negate welcome or big welcome, they go to negate it, you can just unnegate it with skill drain. Not skill drain, breakthrough skill. So there's like a lot of really interesting interactions with these cards specifically that can allow you to do a lot, like genuinely a lot. So I like having this massive package, and you can even throw Lava Golems into this situation, because not only are a lot of these cards very good going second, they're also very good going first, and that's what I like about all of these, because outside of evenly matched, these are all still valid going first as they are going second. And that is really nice, because, like, if I wanted to play a go first stun deck, those decks struggle. There's a reason they struggle, and there's a reason they will probably always struggle. And I don't know why I would pivot a deck into a strategy that already has troubles and almost, like, nerf what you're trying to do for the sake of arguably nothing. Like, you're not really getting anything out of it except, like, you can now play games with if your IQ is room temperature or lower. Like, I don't care enough. I'm trying to actually win the game. I am not wanting my opponent to lock all my back row zones, so I decided to go with this build, which I have so promptly named Dominatrix Labrynth. So, yeah. So, these cards I think are explained. And then the rest, like, 2 Ariadne, the field spell, and Lovely. Lovely is very important because it can turn, like, Big Welcome into a disruption on your opponent's turn, and then, like, Prosperity. Like, all this is pretty obvious. The only ones that stand out are, like, Karma Cannon and Compulse, and, well, Erad's just broken, like this Feather Duster, but, these are the only ones that are actually worth explaining, because now that I got this out of the way, it's only these that need explaining, and there's not really much to explain. In the side deck, I'm thinking about adding some of those floodgates back, just because if you're hyper-aggressive game 1, it really forces them to change around what they're going to do. Like, because now they've realized, oh, I'm kind of playing against a combo deck, never mind. And they'll side in the wrong things, and then you just establish floodgate, and that can actually be it. But I'm not entirely sure yet, because this deck is still a little newer, but, like, the main deck is so absurdly solid, it's crazy. I just don't need to side that often for it. To side in that much stuff that often. So, Karma Cannon, I think, is probably the best normal trap for what I need it to do, which is just Book of Moon. This deck will never need to worry about Towers monsters while this card exists, and in addition, just, like, Book of Moon is like a pseudo FTK against Kashtira, so having a card like this is really nuts. I like it a lot. Yeah, it doesn't clear the monsters, but that doesn't matter too much, because that's what these do with the field spell. That's what Compulse does, and Compulse is just, like, pretty good. It's the most well-rounded, it is the most versatile trap card. The normal trap cards, I think it's the most versatile ever. And that's why I'm playing it. It can trigger Arya's stuff. It can let Ariadne bound, dodge, whatever. Just really good. And in the side deck, I'm only sold on, like, 9 of these cards. These ones need to be changed around for probably some floodgates and other stuff. But Lava Golem, obvious. And then Radiant, because there's some boards where, like, game 2 and 3, they're trying to play around, like, Lava Golem and Sphere mode, but having a Fiend that I can special summon over those kinds of boards is really nice. So it ignores this luck, which I don't even think matters. Yeah, it doesn't. But also you can bounce. It's just a lot of cool things with it. Sphere mode, not entirely sure. None of these I'm entirely sure. Eradicator, because win my opponent the Runic deck. And then Boo Boo Game. Boo Boo Game allows you to never need to play Heavenly Prison in a deck list ever again if you're playing Lady Labrynth. Oh my god, I despise. Absolutely, I've grown to hate Heavenly Prison. That card is a literal -1 until like turn 3 at best. And that's only if you're going first, and I could not care less. I refuse to play that card ever again. And the way Boo Boo Game works is, let's say your opponent activates Smart Beat's Feather Duster, and they go to dust your back row. You can just chain one of the chainables like Compulse or whatever, and then chain this, or chain Lady to set this, so when your back row gets Feather Dustered, it gets, 2 of them get set right back and can be activated again, meaning that Feather Duster was functionally worthless, which is really nice. But that's pretty much it. I just refuse to play Heavenly Prison with that. And then finally, for the extra deck, this is what's really important. You need 3 DDD, King Abyss, Gilgamesh. Not only are you like summoning one to set your DDD scales, but you would need like a second and third one just to link away Caesar or Kaiser Salad or whatever. Because this one can go ahead and recruit Dark Contracts, which is big. So it's like you do need 3 of these, as weird as it is. It's both the starter, and then like continuer, extender, just 3 of. Muckraker just as an emergency reborn. Like, you can burn out of DDD resources really quick. 2 Kaiser, pretty obvious. Not only is it like a good recruiter, but with King Tell, you can go into Mach-NX and just slurp a whole bunch of stuff, which is nice. Then High Sizer, and Sizer, this one, like, is just 2 Solemn Warnings. Really strong with the inboard. 2 Genghis. You could honestly do 3, and I think you probably should do 3 in DDD. But you need at least 2 of them. One of them has to be used for the turn 1 combo, and then the other one, like, it has to go into Caesar Salad here. Dark, I think, is the one you could cut, but I like this one because it allows you to turn a fusion into Siegfried, and then High King Genghis is also cuttable, but Siegfried obvious. So that's it for this DDT deck profile. Yeah, this extra deck is weird, if you haven't guessed. So the only cards I wanted to play in my extra deck were these 4, and that was it. Like, Caesar, Tell, Mach-NX, and Muckraker. And that was it. That was the only ones I wanted to play, and I got to thinking, 75% of the extra deck I want to play is literally a DDD extra deck. So, if nothing else in here matters at all, what if I just grab a regular DDD extra deck? And that's what we have here. I don't even care enough to bait my opponent into thinking it is. It's just none of these choices matter at all. And I thought it was a really funny meme, and that's about it. Like, you only have 4 cards in your extra deck that matter, and like 2 of those 4 are one of those 4 is literally a stepping stone that doesn't need to be there. 2 of those 4 are multiples, so the only one that actually like could be kind of annoying for like Diabantis to banish is Muckraker, but I've never summoned it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just a nothing extra deck. Put it whatever you want in, because you will never use it. If you want to rank 8, Zombie Stein, I guess, or the Lancelot dude. Those are fine choices, I think. But yeah, that's it for the deck list. I'm gonna leave you with a few more replays, but yeah. The only thing I think I would change is probably add some floodgates to the side deck. D-Barrier, the really cool thing about this deck list is you absolutely don't need to hyperfixate on playing 3 of the, like, normal trap floodgates. You can just play 1 of them because your deck actually is trying to win the game and can search these cards and can use them the same turn they're set, so you like don't have to max out on them, giving you room for more choices. So that's like a really cool thing. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully this is a good enough demonstration that just because you have a trap deck doesn't mean you need to play the dumbest, like, just like, you have a functioning brain. You can play this deck as if you have a normal human brain. You don't have to just sit there and wait several turns. You can proactively win if you want to. This is the demonstration I wanted to give off more than anything, is like, if you want to have a proactive combo trap deck, it's here. And the, like, you can say, like, yeah, it's success because all the good decks are running it. Good is based on merit. And in a game like Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you get enough people to play Jerry Beansman Turbo, it itself would be a good deck because that's how a meta game works. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinner Flags will take your soul.